Katie Lopez with the Tampa Bay Chamber, and I want to thank and welcome the viewers for tuning in to our 2024 candidate interview series for the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners. The Chamber focuses on policy, not politics, and while we do not endorse candidates, we do want to make sure that our members and the business community are informed of where the candidates stand on issues that are most important to them. We are excited to welcome Nicole Payne, running for District 4. Thank you for joining us, Nicole.
Thank you for having me, Katie.
As we head into the home stretch towards Election Day, can you give us a brief 30 seconds or less update on your campaign and what message you want to deliver to voters?
Sure. Well, campaigning with the community, getting involved, shaking hands, meeting the residents, and discussing the issues that they care about has been engaging. It is a whirlwind of activity. So, of course, you're, spreading yourself thin, being from the top of the county, which stretches from Plant City, and speaking specifically of District 4, all the way down to Apollo Beach, Ruskin, and Waimama. So you're trying to be everywhere, trying to touch a lot of territories. But I've been meeting wonderful residents, sharing candidly the things that they are caring about, and getting great feedback and support. So I would say things are going well, and I'm asking people to vote for me as I am sharing the same kitchen table issues and concerns that they are.
Now, how can the county government use its authority and resources to really direct job growth that's inclusive of diverse talent?
Well, diverse talent can be a sticky conversation for some, right? Believe it or not, there are some in our county, our government, and even our country that doesn't believe in diversity. But if we look at the history of our country, diversity is really part of our strength. We have different perspectives, we have different backgrounds, we bring different solutions towards things that we may not have seen otherwise without that voice being in the room. So I believe in developing a workforce that includes everyone, that any abled and willing body should be able to be a part of the workforce and be able to put food on their kitchen table, because that's not a partisan issue. Everyone deserves to be or deserves to have the ability to put food on their kitchen table, and that's with a strong, thriving workforce.
A key duty of the county commissioners is to construct, approve, and implement a budget. What one area of county services do you feel most needs additional resources, and should any part of the budget be shielded from cuts?
Well, it's hard to narrow something down to one, right? Because we don't operate in silos. So there are many moving parts to making sure you have a thriving community. And if you ask the citizens what's important to them, many in District 4 are concerned with the infrastructure. They're concerned with the flooding that they believe overdevelopment has caused. And it's, you're trying to have a careful balance between the developers who want to come in and bring great opportunity to help build up a workforce, and the growing concerns that residents have about their neighborhoods being flooded. And so what I would like to focus on is strategic and careful planning. When we know developers want to come in and develop parts of our county, I would like to be able to see what their plan is to have the infrastructure in place before we bring another new 5 to 10,000 residents. How are we going to tackle the infrastructure to include the new schools, fire and rescue, the roads, and even include whether that will take care of any mass transportation opportunities that could be forthcoming.
The renewal of the community investment tax, also known as the CIT, will be on the ballot this fall for voters to decide whether to continue the 0.5% sales tax that funds capital improvement projects across Hillsborough County. What is your position on the CIT renewal and why?
Well, you said a very important piece in your question for voters to decide. And that's what I believe, that the voters need to decide if that's something that they collectively want to support.
Housing affordability remains a top concern for residents and the business community as we seek to recruit and retain a strong workforce. What zoning or policy changes would you support to address the growing workforce housing needs in Hillsborough County?
Well, I've said this plenty of times on the campaign trail is that when it comes to affordable housing, it is an old argument that you can go back into headlines of newspapers dating back to the 1930s. Affordable housing continues to be an issue because there is a wage gap between what someone brings home and the cost of living. Now, I am a business and economics adjunct professor. So these are things that I discuss all the time. In addition to supply and demand, you also have other forces at work. What you need is the ability to be able to afford, which many financial gurus would tell you that 30% of your income should go towards housing. And many people cannot afford that. It's great for some, but we know that in every community, there are winners and losers. And right now, most citizens feel that they're on the losing side with affordable housing and with the ability to bring the ends to meet. So I would like to focus on programs and initiatives that help those vulnerable citizens have the affordable housing that is critical for them to sustain and be active members of the community, but also be able to bring their wages up and support programs and workforce development initiatives so that they can afford their basic needs.
Transportation challenges continue to weigh on our region. What do you see as an opportunity for investment in innovative transit alternatives and mobility options?
Well, as Tampa, the city of Tampa is busting at the seams. We are a fast growing county in the country, one of the fastest. We have to look towards some of those options that include taking some of those cars off the road. We can't just build more roads to get out of the situation. We're going to eventually have to look at um, we're going to have to look at mass transportation initiatives. And I know that there's not a lot of fans of mass transportation, but with this county being 1.5 million citizens and more moving out to the county, these folks have to be able to get to work. We also know that between Orlando and Tampa, I-4 is one of the deadliest corridors in the country. And so putting more cars on the road, building more roads is not solving the problem. We have to begin to look at mass transportation options and get over the notion or the prejudice that comes with mass transportation. It has to be one of the viable solutions that has to be in play sooner rather than later.
Of all the issues confronting Hillsborough County, which single issue is most important to you and why? And what would you do about that if you are elected?
Well, again, there are no just single issues, right? Life is like an onion. There are many layers, and people want that one issue, the smoking gun that if you focus on that, it'll solve everybody's problem. And that's not the case. You really need to have a community that is comprised of not only affordable housing solutions for our most vulnerable citizens. We also have to have a thriving workforce development. We need public safety. And I don't care whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or anything in between. everyone deserves to be safe in their own community. So that goes without saying. We also need to focus on the pillars of our community, which have been our teachers, our military. I am a veteran spouse, and I am the mother of three children who served in the U.S. military. So I believe in supporting our military. I believe in supporting our first responders. And so those collectively is really what helps a community thrive. So it's not just one most important issue. I have to focus on all of those things that support the community.
Where can voters go to learn more about your campaign and your position on issues that are most important to them?
Voters can go to vote for Nicole Payne, and that's the number four, votefornicolepayne.com. And they can read through the things that I care about and the solutions to it. I am not just a checkbox type of person. There are many nuances to being able to manage a community, from the budgets to county planning. And you can't just have check boxes. It's not good enough to say that I am for one party or the other. In this position, you are serving all county residents. And so I would like for people to go on my website and see the things that I care about. I am a compassionate member of our society. I do not consider myself a politician at all. I am a civil servant who is very much engaged in the community and care about the same things that you all do.
Nicole Payne, candidate for Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners, District 4. On behalf of our members and our board of directors, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and your willingness to serve in an elected office. This concludes our
Thank
candidate
you.
interview.
Thank you.